If you're just beginning college and deciding which major that you want to go into, perhaps you are kind of set on business, but there's many fields in business and you're not sure which one. Let me give you reasons as to why I chose marketing myself and kind of particularly what it is that interests me about marketing. And this might convince you to choose marketing as well. But typically, the other majors in business, they view marketing as really easy. And sure, there are areas that are pretty easy, but those are really foundational courses and foundational theories that every business person should know. It's part of the business acumen. But what I will say that really stood out for marketing to me was market research and kind of what this whole channel is about, where you're able to dive into different parts of a business. And it's really similar to management consulting, right? You're not looking at just the marketing issues of a company, but with management consulting, sometimes the issues with accounting, you're looking at finance, you're looking at the supply chain of things, looking at the regulations that the government is imposing, the environment that you're in, even the customers and how they are behaving within that environment as well. So all of these things are combined together into market research, and you can take that into various industries, various parts of a company, and different positions. Whether you want to become a researcher, there's market research companies where all you're doing is just doing a lot of research. And then there's also other positions where you can become an internal consultant. There's also positions where you can just be a consultant in general to other companies. And this gives you access to various industries. And you have to learn it really, really quickly. And I'd say that's probably one of the hardest things to do compared to just having a balance sheet in front of you and filling out numbers and doing calculations. And it requires a nuance that's kind of hard to understand because you have to understand various subjects from psychology to stats to data to technology to even finances. There's accounting and finance within marketing that all plays a role when it comes to much higher level responsibilities that you're given. And that's exactly why I chose marketing. And I knew that's always been a part of marketing to include psychology of things, and that was the second interest of mine, just wanting to understand more on why people shop the way they do, kind of the products that are lined up on the shelf, right? Does that play a role? And it does. How often your product is getting shown even goes down to what the actual brand is showing on the product box, right? That's not random. There's a specific reason why certain words are used, certain fonts, certain colors. There's psychology into that. Even different positions of the box itself. Like, where do you put a specific word on the box? And so there's all these different things that you can go into marketing. And if anything, I think that the fact that getting a job after graduating in marketing is really difficult, that in of itself explains just how rigorous it is. And I will say, typically, from the school that I graduated, the average salary was a lot lower with marketing. And that's typically because marketing has your usual entry roles that either goes into social media or it's a much smaller company that just needs someone who knows the general principles of marketing. Compared to finance and accounting, you generally just know what to do, you're trained to do it, and then you're paid pretty good, and it generally gets more advanced with those as well. But with marketing, you have to really know what you want to become, either really good at one thing or you become good at various things, and that kind of leads you to climb up higher in the ranks and forces you to go get your MBA so that you can eventually become a manager, eventually a supervisor, a VP, and then CMO from then on. And so the road to marketing itself is not linear, and a lot of people who graduate with marketing, as I've seen, they are really lost and they don't really grow these skills. And so in of itself, sometimes marketing is a major that you have to know what you want to do inside the major itself, because it's not just a major, but there's multiple parts within that major, as you know, could be with any other major. But I will say that it's definitely a field where if you're more data driven, you can go that route. If you're more psychology driven, you can go that route. If you're more social media and technology driven, you can also go that route. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it requires you to have a nuance where you understand every part of a business. And most people simply just don't ever get that because they're stuck into one department, just stuck into one field. Whereas when you're in marketing, you have to think about the context of things. You have to look at the whole organization, the whole earth, you know, really see what's going around and why people are acting like that and what you can do to provide recommendations. And so If this video helped you to choose marketing as a major, and if you have any other questions within this realm, just let me know.